Hello, my name is Tony Ashwill with Ashwill Industries. I started this company about 7 years ago. I kind of come from a fabrication background. My dad's been in fab work basically my entire life. Well, this thing behind me here, this is a 1990 Suzuki Carry. I bought two of these things back about 4 years ago, I believe. And I had no idea I would ever kind of get to this kind of level with this truck. It's been like a 3-year process, so the whole, you kind of work on a little bit and then you look at it and you're like, well, you know, maybe if I do this I can, you know, add this and tweak it, make it a little nicer. I can go on and so you'll make that change and then let it sit and simmer, and then a couple months later you come back to it and you're like, I'm going to add this now, and now I'm going to do this. So that's kind of how it all evolved. It really wasn't intended to be this. At one time I was just going to slap it together and sell it and just move on to something else, but it's kind of become its own little life in itself, I guess, if you want to call it. And the whole kind of theme of the truck is like the off-road adventure vehicle, something you can go four-wheeling with and actually stay out for probably a few days, not just kind of an afternoon thing. You know, it ain't like you just sit down and you've got a set of plans and it's like, okay, we're going to do this, 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 this in this order, and this is how it's all going to look. That's why you start doing something, you build the bumper, you have a vision of what you want it to look like. I mean, I can picture what it all looks like in my head, the finished product, at least today. You know, maybe a week from now that picture will change a little bit, but today this is how it's going to look. Well, then you look at other trucks. I look at a lot of off-road stuff. You look at a lot of defense contractors. You look like Oshkosh or International Defense, and you look at the trucks they're building for the military. And that's how you kind of get your ideas. You just look at what everybody else is doing and what's cool, and you incorporate that into your ideas or your project. And that's kind of how most of this comes about. Like the roof rack and the roll bar, it's all tied together, kind of creates one unit. And a lot of the off-road trucks have roof racks so you can store, you know, or stow spare tires or coolers or whatever else you want to carry along with you. And it gives it kind of that exoskeletal look, you know, it looks cool, it's functional, but it has a cool look is kind of the big reason behind it. Or you're driving down the road and something zips by you and you're like, hey, that would be kind of neat on the truck. Or you could take a little piece of the idea, it's maybe not the whole thing. You know, like with this, you go down in Australia and all their bumpers rake forward like that because they're all designed, if you hit a kangaroo or something, it's designed to push it out in front and underneath you instead of coming over top. Or when you get out into the heavy brush, and actually I wish I'd have raked it forward even more because the other one actually went almost straight back or straight up and back a little bit. But that's kind of the whole, you know, you just take little ideas like that and try to expand on them and make them work for what you do. Well, at this point we're probably, I would say, 80% done with this truck. We've got a couple skid plates to fab up yet that are going underneath. I'd say the bulk of the exterior fab that you can see on it right now is complete. So once that's complete, then we have to obviously get the rear seat assembly in there, make sure that all fits and works right. But once that's done, then it's all got to be stripped down to nothing, sanded off, painted, reassembled, you know, get all the little details taken care of. We got some work to do on the interior. Seats got to be reupholstered, or we're going to try to get them done. Got sound system to put in that thing yet, and just get all the wiring and all the lights. Going to probably put some different lights on the truck. In the back, we're going to actually add a rear seat assembly where you can actually, so you can carry 2 more people in the back, like you see in a lot of the UTVs. They've got rear seat sets. With that off-road adventure theme, it's going to actually be painted desert tan. I got paint on the way. So the whole body of the truck and the bulk of the truck underneath everything will be desert tan in color like your military vehicles are. The bumpers and the roof rack and the rear roll bar, whole seat assembly, that'll all be powdered in like a texture black. So it'll and the rims, I'm not sure if they're going to go black or tan yet, but so it'll have this kind of tough military look to it. That's kind of the whole theme with that. Kind of beefed up the doors, so if you do bang or rub on something, it ain't going to just collapse the door now. We ran down the box sides, that's got deck plating on it, and of course I've got the Ai2 logo all over that, and that's kind of an offshoot of Ashwill Industries. It's just Ashwill Industries 2 is what Ai2 Products is. And I used to do some product-based stuff and do a little bit here and there, but not a ton right now. But so if people understand why that Ai2 is all over it, it's kind of this side of the business, the fun side, the customized side of the business. The Ashwill Industries is basically just the water jet kind of job shop side of things. So where it sits today, now we're trying to finish it up for the big SEMA show here, and try to get everything working, because the SEMA show is coming up here end of October, first week of November, and it's got to be ready to get down to that. And so it's presentable, or at least for me, presentable. They were kind of like, nah, it's not a big deal if it ain't completed. You know, it's kind of always a work in progress, so don't worry too much about it. But we want to have it done and have it kind of put on a good show and make sure everybody's pretty impressed with it, we hope anyway. The whole reason it's going down to the SEMA show is because of a website I'm involved with called the Local Forge, which is also part of Local Motors, and they build the Rally Fighter car. And I post all this stuff, all the progress and all the kind of levels and stages that this truck has been through, kind of from start to finish. You can kind of see in a picture slideshow all the steps as far as how the front bumper went together, how the roof rack went together, how the wheels went together, and you can break it all down from start to finish. And we're trying to kind of zip through it here to give you an idea of what we're doing. But if you go on their website, you can see all the progress that's kind of taken place on that. And I've participated in that quite a bit, and kind of since I've gotten involved in that, they've kind of come to me and asked me for some input on the site. What can we do to make it a little better for people to get involved? How do we get people like you involved? And they approached me about 2 weeks ago to say, hey, you know, we're going to be at the SEMA show. We'd really like to promote the Local Forge site. You know, would you bring the truck down there? We'll get it down there for you, and we'll have it on display there. So I was like, hell yeah, let's do that. So